Howdy folks, quick update on natural gas. I'm sorry about the infrequency of these videos. I'm trying to get the Swing Trading Blueprint course together. Opens in September, link below. Please put your name on the early bird list. Also, we had a power pylon blowing over here in Port Elizabeth in South Africa, and we've had no power since Saturday. So we've had to move into a hotel, back again, and so on and so forth. But let me get you this natural gas analysis in any case. Here's the 4-hour chart. Now, if you remember the last video, I said we might have to revisit the bottom of this channel, which looks like is the most likely case now. That would mean we roughly approach this previous low at around 1.88, 1.87. It's where the bottom of this channel is. I've drawn in these two sort of cups to indicate that. There's the channel bottom. Now, if I switch this to a day chart, you can see that this is actually a rather neat channel. We've been in and out of it several times. We held it there for a while, dropped beneath it, retested it from underneath several times, broke back into it, above it, back inside, and we're back down at the bottom now. But if you look at the bottom channel line itself, just by itself, ignore the top one for now, you can see it's a really key pivot line. We've traded above and below it and bounced off it from the upside and from the downside on multiple occasions. So that's where we're at the moment. I'm looking to add my final tranche on here on the natural gas side, on the longs, bearing in mind that the futures are going to roll over on Wednesday. Today is Tuesday, so basically tomorrow. Let's have a look at this on the futures chart at the Henry Hub. This is the 4-hour chart. A very, very similar picture to what we saw on the 4-hour chart on Pepperstone, and also on the day chart it looks pretty similar too. Notice that we've broken out of that megaphone pattern, so we can delete that. That's no longer valid. The support line, very similar to the other chart. We're just testing the top of this order block right now. There's the gap from the rollover in April. And if we do have to test the bottom of the gap, which we haven't actually done so just yet, we'd have to get down to about 1.83. Remember, I pointed this out in the last video that we might have to test this gap. On this occasion, we got halfway into the gap down to about 1.88, but we didn't get to the bottom. We don't necessarily have to get there, but it's just something to bear in mind that these gaps sometimes or often do fill. This is a rollover gap. It's a contract gap, so it's not a weekend gap, which makes a big difference. However, it's a gap nevertheless, and we may have to visit the bottom of that, 1.83, 1.84. Also notice the short-term downward trend line, this black one, and if we do get to the bottom of this zone that we talked about on the Pepperstone chart, down at about 1.88 to 1.86, we'd then be really close to testing the breakout of this previous trend line. If we got down to this trend line, actually, it would take us to the bottom of that gap at about 1.83 or 1.84. Just zooming out again, you can see, once again, that's the bottom of this gap from April. So it goes back a long period, but it's still there and lingering and lurking and apparently beckoning the price towards it. This is the overall bigger picture you've seen many times. Triple bottom, we broke out through there, came back to revisit the 786 and this gap. We got to the 786 and then slightly below that into halfway down into this gap, but not the bottom. And we're testing that level again today. Back to the Pepperstone 4-hour chart. That's where we are. That's the one we just had a look at. With a bit of luck, we'll bounce off there. Remembering that 1.83, 1.84, the bottom of that rollover gap on the Henry Hub chart, would take us down to this red line and about 1.89 or 88, maybe 87 on this Pepperstone day chart. Well, I hope you found that useful. Sorry about the higgledy-piggledy nature of these updates, but things will settle down soon. Please make sure you put your name on the early bird list. The link is below. And while you're at it, you may as well give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Take care.
Boogie with the gas now, shake it, living hot deals, never buy.